Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash a like on the video as well. Massively helps me out and I hope you are all doing well. It's a Tuesday. We've made it past Monday and it's basically halfway through the week and loads of you in here already, which is sensational to see. Jakub, Mustafa, MC Gaming, Pekka, John, Vivi, Vlad, Adam, Carter, Philip, Magnus, Mia, Andreas, George Christodoulou, Devin, Jax Hacks, Kemar, Ethan Udall, Max Stifelberg, Fizzy, Leo Nesbitt, loads of you. It is good to see. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are all doing well. Look, it's another day ticked off the international break. It is another Maddie, Hannah, Yoel, good to see you, Mevin as well. Look, we are counting down the days until the return of the Arsenal. A bit of international news today. Kobbie Mainoo getting called up for the England squad. You love to see it. Seeing various... It's interesting seeing various people's take on the Ben White situation. Like, you've got, for me, the kind of polite... How do you put it politely? I can't put it politely, so we'll just... You've got the group of people that are just like, Ben White should never be able to play for England again. It's a disgrace. And then you've got the people who actually have the ability to think and are more sympathetic to Ben White and the situation that he's in. So I've seen quite a lot of that today, and it's still rumbling on. But I am glad to see that Kobbie Mainoo's in there. That was an interesting way of pronouncing my last name. I don't even know what I said, to be fair. What is it? Stiefberg? Stiefberg? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Did you see Saka's sauce? I did see Saka's sauce. Saka's peri-peri sauce. I want a taste of Saka's sauce. You know? Did someone pull out of the squad for Mainoo to come in? No, I don't think so. From what I can tell, no one dropped out or was... Yeah, I think it was just an addition. Have you seen the Murillo news that has just come out? I haven't, but that's an interesting... What's the Murillo news that's just come out? Because you're skipping ahead of the show, but we were going to talk about Murillo. Arsenal are one of the clubs that are interested in Nottingham Forest centre-back Murillo. That's coming from Sammy Mockbell. That is... seriously, I'm beginning to think that I'm being followed. I'm beginning to think that Edu is following me. Because today, we are letting that comment slide. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. I tweeted literally today that whilst everyone's interested, basically Nottingham Forest supposedly have to sell a star. And everyone's thinking about Morgan Gibbs-White. Everyone's talking about Morgan Gibbs-White. And I said, whilst everyone's thinking about that, I'm looking at Murillo. I think I made a TikTok about it as well. I am telling you. This summer, we're signing Gyökeres, we're signing Murillo, we're signing Hato. It's happening. But that is good news. That's good news because I am very interested in Murillo. 21 years old, serious player potentially. Would you be interested in a one-year? Yeah, I tweeted that I would be interested in a one-year. The only issue is he is 26 years old. He seems a good defender, just 5'11", though. Haven't watched Forest enough to know if he struggles in the air. From what I remember, he didn't really struggle in the air against us. Looking forward to the first 500 live views. We will be there. And I mean, we've gone and bought Timber, who's, I think, also 5'11". So I don't think it's something... I think as long as you've got them alongside a Gabriel, I don't think it's hugely important. First time I've been able to watch the live. Yeah, good. Luke Greenberg, welcome. Welcome to the live, where the vibes... By the way, if you are watching on catch-up, if you are one of the people that watches the VOD, because I think yesterday's video ended up on 3,000 views, absolute legends. I massively appreciate it, because it's not quite as interactive for you, because you're not, getting your comments read and stuff, so... I do appreciate you. Murillo looks really solid. Would be a great backup for Saliba. Yeah, I mean, look, Murillo is still raw. He is still, he's not the finished product by any means, right? But this is where you start building for the future. You bring in a Murillo who can be the understudy to William Saliba because he's got the physical capabilities. And that's the big thing at the moment. You need the players that are physically capable. Need a centre-back, especially since confirmed Cedric's leaving. Yeah, but Cedric is leaving. That came from Fabrizio Romano today. I mean, I tell you what, if news came out of anything other than Cedric leaving, I'd be leaving. I'd be leaving out the nearest window. Murillo's aerial ability is stinky. Well, it wasn't something that jumped out at me as being very bad. I'm not saying it's brilliant, but it wasn't something that jumped out at me as being very bad. So, I mean, look, it's something that he can work on. I mean, he is only 5'11". There's only so much you can do when you're 5'11", right? He's won 42% of his aerial duels. So he's won 40, and I guarantee Saliba's is not very good. He's won 42% of his aerial duels. Saliba's won 43% of his aerial duels. So he's no worse in the air than William Saliba is. And look, I think that's something that for the centre back that's alongside Gabriel, it's not too important. It's not too important. Martinez is 5'7". Yeah, exactly. Martinez manages it. Exactly. This is the big thing. Francisco Oliveira is bang on. He's very good with the ball. This is what if you're looking at the Saliba profile of player, you want pace, you want physicality, one-on-one duels, good on the ball. They are the important factors. And I think he has those. Did you hear what happened to Courtois? Yeah, brutal. And by the way, this actually, the Courtois thing wraps into the Jury and Timber thing that we're going to talk about, is how important it is to bring the player back slowly, because Courtois, having come back from an ACL injury that he got 7 months ago, has just done his meniscus and is going to be out for at least another couple of months because of that. It's brutal. Apparently, he left the training ground in tears, which is sad. You know, training with Belgium and did it. You know, I don't think he's done his ACL again. It's his meniscus. But and the thing is, so normally if you do your ACL, there's normally quite a high chance that you do meniscus damage with it. And meniscus is difficult to repair. So, yeah, it's brutal for him. How much does Hato cost? Well, we don't really know. He's so young. He's one of those players you don't really know how much Hato would cost. He's signing a new contract where apparently he's going to have a release clause of 100 million. Now, that doesn't mean you'd need to pay 100 million for him, but possibly, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how much he'd cost. Someone said Murillo's left-footed, which I'm just double-checking. Is he left-footed? He might be left-footed. If he is left-footed, I don't know why. I thought he played on the right-hand side of this. I'm certain he played at right centre-back for... I'm certain he played. Is he left-footed? Oh, no, yeah, naturally left-footed centre-back. Yeah, okay, so he's left-footed. Would you know what that also gives you, though? Do you know what that also gives you? It's in the same way that kind of if you've got, like, I don't know, a Kivior and a Ben White. If you've got a left-footed profile of Saliba, then you can have a right-footed profile of Gabriel, for example, and you can switch things around. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. He's 4 inches shorter than Saliba. Yeah, fair. Is Saliba 6'3"? Is Saliba 6'3"? Fair enough. People say Kimmich is overrated. Nah, they're wrong. Why do you think Man United would want Southgate? It seems like a backward step for them. I've got no idea. If you didn't see the news today, apparently, and it came from Mail Sport, right? And I know the Daily Mail gets a lot of slack, and rightfully so. But actually, when it comes to football, like Sami Mokbel works for the Daily Mail. He's very good with Arsenal news. So I don't necessarily discredit them when they talk about football. And they're saying that Gareth Southgate is the number one choice for Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe this summer. And it would just be brilliant. It would be brilliant. He's not a Premier League manager. And do you know what's even crazier? They're talking about the new structure of Man United, because Sir Jim Ratcliffe was asked about Kylian Mbappe, and he said, well, we wouldn't sell an Mbappe, we'll sign the next Mbappe. So their whole thing is going to be signing young players that they think are going to be the next stars. Imagine you go out and you sign the next young stars, and then they get coached by Gareth Southgate. Like, what sort of a plan is that? Like, there is no. You might go and get the next Kylian Mbappe. They're not turning into the next Kylian Mbappe under Gareth Southgate. It's absolutely crazy. Did you see Tyrone Mings' legs after his ACL? Yeah, this honestly, if you haven't seen it, go and just search on Twitter or whatever Tyrone Mings muscle or something like that. It'll probably come up. The muscle, they call it muscle atrophy, which is basically where you injure you do your ACL, and that leg is immobile for so long that the muscle just disappears from it. And Tyrone Mings' right leg compared to his left leg, it's crazy. It's like all of the muscle has gone. And to be fair, that's one thing that I think Timber has kind of avoided. I don't know if it's because Timber's been back for longer doing rehab work, but he's avoided it. But on Tyrone Mings, it looked wild, absolutely wild. It's been reported that Arsenal are monitoring Murillo's situation. Thoughts? Yeah, we were just talking about that. We were just talking about Murillo. Is this the way to Murillo? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Seriously though, I do think they are. I do think they are watching me because I tweeted it, and now they're copying me. Oh my days! I've just seen it's half the size. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Do you think Musiala is the best talent in the world right now? Not the best talent in the world. Not the best talent in the world. He's an incredible talent, don't get me wrong. There are still parts of his game that I think he can improve. I feel like sometimes he doesn't get the shot off quickly enough. Or he doesn't get a clean enough strike. But yeah, he's an incredible talent. No, I'll tell you one thing. In terms of best in the world, I don't think anyone at the moment in the world can dribble as well as he dribbles. It's spectacular. Emilio, good to see you. Good to see you. If Gyökeres signs this summer, how many goals do you predict he scores in his first season? Around 20. Around 20. He's not going to come in and do 50 goal contributions in 39 games. I don't think he would. It is a different level. People talk about. I just made a video about Gyökeres on TikTok, and some of the comments that started coming in were about, but it's the Portuguese league. It's a different level. And it is. They're right. But if you're doing 50 goal contributions in 39 games in the Portuguese league, you're still going to manage plenty in the Premier League. Like, maybe not as many. But yeah, Haaland got injured in Norway training today. Wonder if it's an actual injury or just a precaution. Go and find the video of him limping. I saw the video of him limping in Norway training. It's ridiculous. He is not injured, and it's one of the worst fake limps I've ever seen in my life. It reminds me of when I stopped playing in goal and I got put at left back because that was just the only outfield position that no one actually wanted to play in. And I'd play at left back. And if I was getting absolutely cooked by a winger in a game after like 65 minutes, I'd just put on a limp. And I'd start doing this to the manager. And it wasn't because I was injured. It was because I'd been absolutely fried. And that was the limp that Erling Haaland was doing. His limp changed about 3 times in the space of about 10 strides. Like, you couldn't even tell which leg it was that was meant to be limping. He is not injured. And look, we said yesterday, if Gabriel's not injured and he's just getting rest, then fair enough. And if Haaland's doing the same, fair enough. But he is he is not injured. No way. Erdegaard's going to improve his assist if he comes. Yeah, for sure. I think everyone will. Like, Gyökeres is a box striker. He scored 22 goals in, well, something like that. Basically, only one of the goals he scored in the Portuguese league this season was from outside the box. The limping video is so fake. I find it kind of disrespectful that he even went to the camp to then try and get out of it. Literally, I'd have had more respect for him if he'd just gone, I'm not going. I need to rest or something like that. At first, it looks like the left leg is injured. Then it gradually changes to looking like the right. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't know which leg he's meant to have hurt. It's unbelievable. Will Gyökeres go straight into the starting lineup with Jesus as backup? Not necessarily. And not even Jesus. Kai Havertz could still be there. Especially if we go out and buy an 8. Let's say we go and got a Kimmich or an Onana or a Douglas Luiz or whoever it is. You could still then have Kai Havertz as the centre forward. Kai Havertz has pretty much figured out what he needs to do as the Arsenal centre forward now. So that would be the good thing. whoever comes in, they don't have to go straight into the starting lineup. They can be given time for sure. Did you see the Brazil squad are training at Colney? I did. Vinny Jr. training at London Colney. Don't let him go. Don't let him leave. Trap him. Guardiola at work. He planned it with Haaland. Probably. Timber in left back would be sick. It would. It will. Hopefully. Hopefully it's something that we'll see. Truth be told, Zinni should be sold. Possibly. I'll tell you what, if an offer comes in for Zinni, which would be profit, if an offer comes in for Zinni, which is more than we paid for him, I'd consider it. I do still think, though, that he is a player that we don't have a replica of. We don't have another Zinchenko. We don't have a player that can add the control to the midfield and the creative ability to the midfield that Zinchenko inverting has. But if we get to the point where, because of the defensive side of the game, Jurriën Timber's starting at left back, I don't know if Zinchenko, if you can sell him for 35, 40 million, I think you've got to do it rather than having him on the bench. Do you think we will need to sell a defender if we sign Hatta or Murillo? Yeah, we will. There wouldn't be room. Otherwise, one of the defenders would not be getting into the squad if everyone was fit. And so that could be Zinchenko. That could be the Zinchenko sale. It could. Seen a few tweets about the PFA Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year this season. Who would be yours? Right here, right now, Declan Rice would be PFA Player of the Year for his consistency. And Bukayo Saka would be PFA Young Player of the Year. That would be it. And obviously, there's an element of bias there, but I genuinely think you can argue that for both of them. I think Player of the Year, if it's not Declan Rice, you may be looking at Van Dijk, maybe Phil Foden. But yeah, that's what I go for. Sometimes it hurts everywhere. I'm not sure what that means. What's your starting 11 for City, assuming everyone's fit? For me, it'd be Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Rice, Jorginho, Ødegaard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. That would be mine. And the reason that I wouldn't bring in a Tomiyasu or a Timber, I don't think Timber will be ready anyway, but even if he was, I don't think coming back into the starting 11 for the first time in months and months and months, I don't think City away is the game to do that, in my opinion. I think you stick with what has been working. You stick with the guys that right now know exactly what the expectation is from them. And that's what I would go for. Anyone else not get the confirmation email after successfully applying to the ballot? No, I got mine. I'd maybe ring up the club if you haven't got yours. I would maybe ring up the club. Who's Murillo, the Forest guy? Yeah, Nottingham Forest centre-back. Brazilian, 21 years old. And potentially available this summer because Nottingham Forest are probably going to have to sell a big player. And he might be the one that they sell. And look, if they sell him, we should be in for him. 1,000,000%. We should be in for him. I think Timber will be on the bench. Well, that segues me on nicely to this article that was in Football London today by Kaya Kainak, who is, if you don't follow Kaya Kainak or Kaya Kainak, I don't know how to pronounce it. If you don't follow him on Twitter, I would recommend following him. He's good. But it's inside Jurriën Timber's injury return as Arsenal defender poised for impact during the run-in. And it talks about a few things. I'd recommend going and reading this article, to be fair, if you're interested in it. But a couple of things here. When Timber arrived at Arsenal, it was expected that he would take some time to bed in, but it took just one training session in Washington to realise that wasn't going to be the case. Club sources at the time remarked how quickly the Dutch international had adapted to Mikel Arteta's specific tactical demands. Wow, was the simple verdict provided by one person inside the Gunners' US preseason training camp. And then it explains the kind of whole preseason that we had and how he was impressive. And then obviously it talks about the fact that he got injured, replaced Zinchenko, which was, it was what it was. And then obviously got that injury. The initial hopes were that the injury wasn't that serious. The swelling had been minimal, and Timber had been able to walk around London Colney in the days following. So that's crazy. Timber was walking around with no ACL. But the scans eventually would confirm everyone's worst nightmare. The first person to comfort Timber was Zinchenko. I think that's important. You're talking about a player who was effectively in line to replace Zinchenko, but Zinchenko was the one that comforted him. And then it talked about what he's been doing in the the recovery period. It said Arsenal have worked hard to keep the Dutch international close to the team ever since. He's been part of the team meetings and is in the dressing room before and after every home game. Um, it also talks about his family and how he's been getting involved in the community. And then this is a big thing for me. Timber has also used it. Timber has used his watching brief to get to know the tactical intricacies of his teammates. He's been putting these to use in training sessions where he's slowly beginning to get involved with the group again. Understandably, Arsenal are keen to manage his reintegration carefully. In sessions where it's felt there would be undue stress on his knee, Timber sits out. In others, he is now fully involved. The next few weeks will be crucial as the Dutch international ramps up latter stages of his recovery. It's not yet clear if he will be involved against Manchester City after the international break, but if he continues at the rate of progress, he will be involved in the business end of the season. Having defied the odds with how quickly he settled in North London, Timber is hoping that he can turn heads once again as Arsenal seek Premier League and Champions League glory. And this is important, right? It's important in terms of, I think it's great that Timber's in a way been given the year to kind of learn and understand how Arsenal operate. I think it was, I do think it looked like he'd settled in very quickly anyway, but he's now got much more of that under his belt. And then I think it's important to set some expectations in terms of how that comeback's going to be. He's only just beginning to get into every session. And like I said, with Courtois' injury, that's an example of where you've just got to be careful with it. And as much as everyone, right? The club, the player, the fans, we will all want to see him back on the pitch as quickly as possible. You don't want to see him come back and get another injury that's 2 months and that's the whole season done then. It has to be slow, it has to be sensible, and it's exciting. Look, that's the main thing. It is very, very exciting. And it's big though that how he blew everyone's expectations when he first joined. Because one thing I've seen a lot, right, when we talk about our injuries this season compared to other teams, like other teams that are crying, woe is me about their injury situations. And you go, well, yeah, but we had, in January, we had 7 or 8 players out injured. And then they go, oh, yeah, but it was no starting players. And then you say, well, Jerry and Timber. They go, well, you don't know he was going to start. I think it was quite clear that he was going to be a starting player for the majority of the season if he was fit. And I think that shows it. I want to get Morgan Gibbs-White. See, I don't think Morgan Gibbs-White is I think he's a brilliant player. I'm not convinced he's the sort of profile we need right now. And if you wanted to go and spend big money on that profile, I think there are better non-English players that you can go and get, to be quite honest. So, but yeah, look, on Yuri and Timber, it's the best we could hope for. Genuinely, if you look at a normal ACL injury, it'd be the whole season. You look at Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings did his ACL. When did Tyrone Mings do his ACL? I feel like it was. When did he do his ACL? Because I feel like it was around the same time, right? I feel like Tyrone Mings did his ACL around the same time as. Trying to find out if there's a thing that says it. Yeah, so he did his in August. So it was just after Timber that Mings did his ACL, and yet he looks so much further away from being back than Timber does. And so I think it's really we got the best. We got the best we could have got in terms of the recovery time that we've had from Timber. Not a single setback, it doesn't appear. And he looks, he doesn't look like he's physically taken too much of a hit. There are, as people are saying in the chat, there are over 200 of you again. Again, a Tuesday is not normally a big day, but over 200 of you, absolute legends. I'm just grateful. I am grateful. If you can smash a like whilst you're here, it genuinely, the more likes we leave the live stream on by the time I jump off, the better the video does after it. And it helps me out. It does. So I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Thoughts on Lamina from Wolves? What I've seen, he looks good. He does look good. He looks good. Actually, both him and João Gomez at Wolves both look really good. Yeah, they do. They do. It would be interesting. I don't know if he'll go anywhere. I don't know if Wolves need to sell anyone. This is the thing. The team, the opportunities this summer are going to come from the teams that have to sell. So we're hearing that Newcastle might have to sell a star player. So that could be Isaac or Bruno Guimaraes on the go. I've got a feeling Bruno G goes to Man City, which would be big for them. But if Bruno G goes to Man City, that kind of opens up potentially Douglas Luiz, potentially Joshua Kimmich. So, it's not the end of the world. Nottingham Forest, it sounds like they need to sell. I think Everton are going to have to sell Jared Branthwaite, which is an option. Although it sounds like Man United want Branthwaite. And if they're building this whole English thing that they want to build, then I guess he'll probably go there. Maybe Ming's ACL was worse than Timber. It probably was. It probably was. And that's what I'm saying. We got lucky that it was an ACL injury, but it sounds like it wasn't. Even in that article, the way it spoke about the fact that it didn't massively swell, he was walking around on it afterwards. That suggests that there was no other damage around the knee, which makes the recovery shorter. Like, if you do your meniscus as well, it's so much worse. So we got unlucky with Timber. Of course we did. Like, your first proper competitive game to get an ACL injury is horrific luck. But if you are going to do your ACL, we kind of got the best of what you can get out of an ACL. Would you take Cunha or Neto? I really enjoy watching Matheus Cunha. I think there are still parts of his game he massively has to improve, especially when it comes to finishing. I think his finishing has improved since he moved from Wolves, or to Wolves. But when he picks up the ball, like just inside the opposition half. He just drives with it. And it's like, I'm yet to really see a defender that's figured out how to stop him. Is he good enough for Arsenal? Would he start for Arsenal? I'm not sure. But it's definitely a player that I enjoy watching. Are the Kimmich rumours true? They are. So Bayern Munich are open to letting Joshua Kimmich go this summer. And he listed 5 teams that he would be... Basically, Kimmich listed 5 teams that he would be open to going to. And Bayern therefore said, okay, these are the 5 teams that we would consider bids from. So it's kind of like a gentleman's agreement of Bayern going, okay, well, we might let you go. And Kimmich is saying, okay, but only if it's one of these 5 teams. And the 5 teams, Barca, Real Madrid, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. And I was talking about this earlier on Judge Mo's stream. If you don't watch Footy Judge Mo, check it out. But we were on stream earlier. Realistically, if you're looking at who's going to go on and be successful over the next few years, it's City, Real Madrid, and Arsenal, in my opinion. I think Liverpool have a bit of a reset coming without Klopp. Barcelona, I just don't think are at the same level anymore. Obviously, if Real Madrid get Mbappe, they're just going to be unbelievable. City is City. And then the next one down from that is Arsenal, in terms of if you want to go and win trophies. So I could see it happening. I really could see it happening. Kimmich is a player. And by the way, a lot of people still think Kimmich's best position is a right back that comes into the midfield. A lot of people, Germans, Bayern fans, still believe Kimmich is a better right back that moves into the midfield than he is a 6. I mean, there is a position there at Arsenal. I'm not saying he'd replace Ben White, but that's a significant upgrade in the depth department. And then effectively you're getting a player that can play at right back, move into the midfield. He could play as the 6. He could play as the 8. Like, that's a serious player. It is a serious player. If you could choose between Gyökeres and Isaac, who would you go for? I think we spoke about this yesterday, and it would be just about Gyökeres. I'm a big fan of Isaac. I think he's a brilliant finisher. It's the injuries for me. It's the injuries that are the difference for me. Cunha scored a hat-trick against Chelsea. He did. He did score a hat-trick against Chelsea. Kimmich, 29, no resale value. We won't go for him. We might, though. We might. In the same way that we went for Jorginho. Imagine the next Jorginho is Joshua Kimmich. And we know, let's say we go and buy him for, I don't know how much he'd go for, but when we buy him, we know we're not going to sell him on, really, for any sort of profit. But we don't mind that. We're bringing him in as the next Jorginho. That's possible. That's a possibility. What's your prediction for City? 1-1. 1-1 is my prediction for the City game. Cunha is mid. Sorry, get him away from my club. Harsh. Bring me Eze or Quinton Timber. I definitely don't think we're bringing in Timber's brother. Eze, I would bite your hand off for Eze. But again, you know, some players you just can't see the move happening. Eze to Arsenal is a move I just don't see. I don't know why. It's just a move that I don't see happening. Who do you think will win the UCL, Europa League, and Conference League? I think Man City win the Champions League. I think Liverpool win the Europa League, and I think Aston Villa win the Conference League. I think it could be an All England. I think it could be All England, and maybe that's me being a classic England snob or whatever. But I think those three are the favourites in each of those competitions. I would assume. Jorginho is a pass master, and it was revealed Arteta absolutely admired him in his City days. Yeah, he did. He did. I think he even tried. I think he even suggested that City signed Jorginho before. I'm pretty sure he did. Gabi Jesus has a pivotal role in the remaining games, which people are ignoring. Yeah, Jesus. I wouldn't call it pivotal, but he has an important role to play. 100%. Jesus has an important. Every player in the squad. Believe me, right? We play as it stands. If we were to beat Bayern Munich, we will play 14 games in 49 days. 14 games in bang on 7 weeks. From the 31st of March to the 19th of May, 49 days, 14 games. That is a game every 3.5 days for 7 weeks straight. Non-stop. Every single player in that squad, bar Cedric, is going to be important for us. Absolutely. Absolutely, they will. Will Gabriel be fine for City? Yeah, that's the hope. The hope is that he'll be fine for City. It's an injury that he's been managing all season. So it's not like a new injury. It's something he's been dealing with all season that they didn't want to aggravate with him in Brazil to then come back into the run-in with. But yeah, he should be fine. Who starts at DM, Rice or Kimmich? Either or. This is the thing. You know when we play with Jorginho and Rice, and in some games you'll see Rice way further forward and Jorginho sits in. But in some games you'll see both of them more in a double pivot. That's the beauty of it. That's exactly what you can get with Kimmich and Rice. That's why it kind of makes sense for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cedric. I'm sorry, Cedric. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you think it's now or never for Vieira? I can see us loaning or selling him in the summer if he doesn't make an impact in these remaining months. It could be, but again, it feels like a lot of people are in that boat of now or never. I think Smith Rowe feels like he's in the boat of now or never, but we're not gonna get rid of both Vieira and Smith Rowe in the summer. I think both of them have been unlucky with injuries this season. You know, I think both of them could have had more important roles this season if they didn't get injuries at certain times. So I think it might be the end for one of them. I struggle to see us keeping Vieira and Smith Rowe both long term. Even though they don't necessarily play the same role or position, I feel like they take up the same squad spot. Because I don't think either of them are starters. So they're a position on the bench. And if you go out and you say, okay, well, you want at least another 6 or 8 to be on the bench. You want at least another 10 / Erdegaard replacement on the bench. You want a winger, a striker. Suddenly you start running out of room to have both Smith Rowe and Vieira. And you can't have one of them that's... the dog has arrived. You can't have one of them that's not even getting into a matchday squad when everyone's fully fit. We will have to rotate and hope our squad players can step up when counted on. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it correct wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards. Is this the way to a Murillo? By the way, that will 1,000,000% be the chant if he joins. That will 1,000,000% be the chant if he joins. What's your dog called? Hershey. Where's she gone? Oh, she's gone under the sofa. She's in hiding. Anyway, clue number 1. They joined Arsenal in 2016. They joined Arsenal in 2016. Clue number 2. They scored 6 goals in 161 appearances for Arsenal. 6 goals in 161 appearances for Arsenal. Clue number 3, they won 3 Swiss League titles with FC Basel. They won 3 Swiss League titles with FC Basel. Clue number 4, they are Arsenal's longest-serving current player. They are Arsenal's longest-serving current player. And clue number 5, they have 98 appearances for Egypt. They have 98 appearances for Egypt, and that will be the clue that everyone gets. But there you go. That one took a while. That one, there was lots of shouts for Xhaka and who else? Holding was getting some shouts in there. Mustafi, Lacazette. Monreal got a shout, but it was indeed. I'm trying to find who got it first. It was Ethan Udall who got it first. Mohamed El Neni. It was El Neni, and it was Ethan Udall who got it first. Jumana got it second. Francisco Oliveira got it third. Yomi got it fourth, and Rohit got it fifth. So there you go. The GOAT, Mohamed El Neni. What a player. What a player. El Neni contract confirmed by Rory. Look, we might actually give him another contract. Ethan's done the double. Did Ethan win yesterday? Wait, was yesterday Ethan's first ever win? Or was that someone else? It was Ethan, right? Opinions on that video with the kid asking Mbappe to come to Arsenal? I'm not sure I've seen it. Yeah, there you go. So he waited that long for his first win, and then he's done 2 in a row. Like London buses, you wait for 1, and then 2 show up. Congratulations. On your screen, Akror was first. I'll scroll back up, but look, we'll do a little VAR check. Who was first? Oh, God. VAR check. I'm sorry. Ethan didn't win. Way earlier on. Akror got it. Akror is the winner. I'm sorry to take that away from Ethan. He's not done the back-to-back. This was one of the very first guesses out of anyone was El Neni from Akror. Oh, no. Sack him. Sack the quizmaster. No goal. VAR, it's ruined the game. Shout out to whoever actually corrected me then, because I did get that wrong. Ethan, look, you came second. Hey, it's not bad. Everyone else, you move 1 down the pecking order. Does it count if I said even El Neni as a response to a question earlier in the stream? Unfortunately not. What a ref decision for Rory. Get him in the Prem. Yeah. Look, at least I am quick with the VAR decision, and I am accurate. I'm quick. I'm accurate. I hold my hands up when I'm wrong. I apologize. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. This is where I give you the career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is. First person to get it right in the chat wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much pride and respect as Akror currently has for... By the way, credit to him, because the reason I missed it was because of how much quicker he got it than anyone else. That's a sign that you've smashed it. He was so much quicker. It's not Joshua Kimmich. I'll tell you what, a lot of you are quite switched on these days to the fact that sometimes if I've been talking about a player, they become the Guess the Non-Gooner. I can promise you, I have not mentioned this player today. So this player started their career at Rayo Vallecano. They joined the Real Madrid Academy. They then went to Almeria. They then went back to Real Madrid permanently. They went from Real Madrid to Sevilla permanently. They went from Sevilla to Man City permanently. From Man City, they went on loan to Valencia. They then moved to Valencia permanently. They then moved to Middlesbrough on loan. They then moved to Besiktas permanently, followed by Al Nassr, Cadiz, and then Real Valladolid. So there you go. So Rayo Vallecano, Almeria, Real Madrid, Sevilla, Man City, Valencia on loan, Valencia permanently, Middlesbrough on loan, Besiktas, Al Nassr, Cadiz, and Real Valladolid. And I can see some people have got it. I'm going to have to go and find out who got it first. It was not Jesus Navas. It was not Jesus Navas. Where are we? Right. I'm definitely at the top of where we started that game. So, who came first? Who came first? Lots of people were guessing Navas, Garcia, Joselu, Diaz, Ferran Torres. No. And there we go. It was Peter Jovanovic. Peter Jovanovic was first. It was Alvaro Negredo. Remember Alvaro Negredo. Ethan Udall is second again. It's a painful one for Ethan. But look, 2 silver medals is not bad. Francisco Oliveira was third. Yomi was fourth. And Vivi Vlad was fifth. But there you go, it was Alvaro Negredo, who was actually just not very good. He was actually just not very good, was he? Young Tar had no clue. Second again, that's the 7th time. 7th time. Third again for Francisco Oliveira. Are you going to watch why PGMOL didn't give the pen for City Liverpool? When's that on? Is that on tonight? I'll make a video about it, probably. I will probably make a video about it. I've been watching since the summer and never won. That's tough. 5th and 4th, I'm cooking with Saka's chili sauce. Yeah, Bukayo Saka's got a Nando's sauce coming out, and I'm excited to try it. In fact, fun fact, Nando's, this is probably the coolest part of being a social media person I've had so far. Nando's reached out to me about the whole Saka thing. So, yeah, I might get some free chicken. Sensational. They uploaded it to YouTube. Oh, I'll check it out. I haven't seen it. Well, I'll check it out. I'll check it out and then make a TikTok about it so you can watch that. W Nando's. Yeah, big W for Nando's. Reaching out to your boy. But there you go. Nando's black card. They haven't offered me a black. If Nando's offered me a black card, oh God, I'd get so fat. I would get so fat. A real influencer now? Nah, not quite. Thoughts on Mikel Antonio's comments about us? Yeah, he's a fool. If you didn't see it, Mikel Antonio claimed that Arsenal fans are delusional every time we win. That's coming to you from Mikel Antonio, the man that said he would score 30 goals a season for Man City. Okay. What would your lineup be for England in the Euros? There's the dog again. My lineup for England in the Euros would be Pickford, Trent, Stones. Honestly, at this point, maybe Branthwaite. Probably Luke Shaw, Rice, Mainu, Bellingham, Saka, Foden, Kane. My bad. It's on Sky Sports. I'll find it. How's Timber supposed to work when he uses his right foot at left back? Well, the same way that he was doing it at the start of the season. He looked comfortable. Doing it at the start of the season. I don't think it's a problem. He looked completely comfortable. Do you know what as well, right? Joe Gomez was better at left back than right back for Liverpool this season. Joe Gomez at left back's been very good for Liverpool this season. At right back, he looks out of place. So I don't think it's a problem. Can we classify Martinelli as a one-season wonder yet? No. Martinelli's been good this season. Martinelli's not been as good this season as last season, and I think part of that's more down to the fact that he's just so isolated on that left-hand side. Martinelli's not had a bad season by any stretch. He scored some important goals as well, for sure. The same way Cancelo uses his right foot at left back. Yeah, exactly. Tomiyasu looks fine at left back. I think it'd be fine. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate all of you for joining us. As always, we hit over 200 viewers again, which is mental. You're all absolute legends. If you can subscribe if you're not already, drop a like on the video before you drop off. And I'll be back at 6:30 tomorrow, as always, to do it all again. But until then, I hope you have a fantastic evening. Have a good Wednesday. And yeah, I will catch you 6:30 tomorrow.